Hello again, Sean Kosofsky here with Mind the Gap Consulting and the Nonprofit Fixer channel. These are short little videos where we give nonprofit wisdom away to people. This one is again some content from a former blog post. You can check out the link below or subscribe to my channel. But it's about media, answering media questions. This is not just for nonprofits, this is for anyone dealing with the media. But there's a blog post I put up called It's a Trap, responding to difficult questions from the media. And there are a handful of different ways that the media might ask you questions that can trip you up. And I wanted to give a quick rundown through some ways you can avoid these traps. The first one is the loaded question, where they ask something where you really have to unpack it in order to give a thoughtful answer. So if a reporter asks something, the ongoing joke that people say is, when did you stop beating your wife? Well, there's no really way to answer that without admitting to beating your wife. So anytime someone asks a question that's loaded or really complicated, you're going to want to restate the question and go right back to answering it, giving exactly what you want to say, how you want to respond, not necessarily answering the question, but responding with what you want to say. Another tough question is the extreme question, which is kind of forcing you to one side or the other. So do you love this kind of thing or do you hate this kind of thing? You may not want to be pigeonholed into giving these extreme answers. So you want to, again, restate the question or restate your position in the way that most accomplishes your goal, which will be achieving your mission of your organization. Another kind of question that people will receive from reporters are what-if questions. These are a trap, so you don't want to answer what-if questions. So you don't want to answer a question about whether you'll win the election or lose the election, or whether your piece of legislation will pass or if it won't pass. What you want to focus on is, what is my goal in this interview? If my goal in this interview is to reach the 30,000 or 300,000 people watching or reading this article, I need to say what it is I need to say to get my message out. So answering what-if questions are pure speculation. There might be moments where you want to give your what-if answer, but in general, it never works out to your advantage. Another kind of question to handle is the unverified third-party quote. Someone calls you and said, hey, the Pope today said this thing about poverty. What do you think about that? Well, you could say, I don't comment on third-party quotes. I need to see that quote in writing before I will comment on that quote. It can be tricky and a trap to respond to things because, one, the reporter might have the quote wrong, or two, because you don't want to get stuck into a trap of he said, she said, when really the original quote was something a little bit more nuanced. So don't fall for that. Again, verify the quote, then you might want to comment. Next is rapid fire questions. If reporters, and most people aren't in this situation, but if you're in some kind of trouble, you might get rapid fire questions where people are asking many right in a row. Again, you control your message. So you should slow down, restate the questions, and answer them at the pace that feels more comfortable for you. Finally, confusing questions. These are ones where clearly the reporter doesn't understand the topic area because their question is incredibly uninformed, not loaded like the first kind of question, just really uninformed. So again, restate the question, answer it in a way that serves your purpose, which is usually your mission. Those are just a handful of the different ways you can handle tough questions when representing a nonprofit organization in media interviews. So subscribe to this channel, share this with your friends, check out the blog post, and I'll see you in the next video.